Well, I was recording hoping that something silly would happen and then I'd be able to put it before the thing. No, we're not doing the drink joke every time, Lloyd. All right, hey, it's Bill. It's Lloyd. We don't want to waste your time at the beginning. Let's get right into this. We've got some ridiculous news. I thought that we would be all done with the midweek news for this week because we already had midweek news for this week. But then they gave us some midweek news today, and of course, like, it's always exciting, but good God, this is pretty insane. What was your reaction, Lloyd?
I was a little blown away. I thought at first when I saw the image it's listing all the games. Not to bury the lead, we're talking about the June games that are coming free if you're a pro subscriber.
How many games is that?
Five games. I thought it was a joke, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I realized that it was actually tweeted from the official Stadia account because it was retweeted into my timeline. And it's like, all right, this is a thing. We already got like the check ESO news. We already got the 1440p stuff. We got a whole bunch of amazing news, and then now we get 5 games coming in June if you're a pro subscriber. Pretty ridiculous.
Absolutely. So let's. I want to start with we'll just go in order from the community blog, which you can find over at community.stadia.com. But I'm going to say something that I think is going to make a lot of people irritated with me. Okay. And so we've got Get Packed is the first game in the list. Here's what they said in the official blog. They said, get ready for hilarious hijinks in Get Packed. This zany, cooperative, competitive game challenges you and your friends in a race to avoid wacky hazards as you struggle to relocate furniture and possessions in the face of overwhelming odds. And here's my hot take that I think a lot of people are going to be irritated with. This game came out a month ago. Mm-hmm. And invariably, I feel that there's going to be people who think that they bought it when it was, I think it was $20. I mean, it's still $20. So. Mm-hmm. They bought it, when it first came out. And a month later, now it's going to be free for anybody who's subscribed to Stadia Pro. And I know that there's going to be a certain subset of those people who will say, I deserve a refund. And I disagree. Right. Well, I can't speak for you, not you, Lloyd, but you, the viewer here. I can't speak for you, but for me, if I had bought this game a month ago and been able to play it for a month, I don't feel like I would be entitled to a refund just because it's now a game that's included in our subscription for Stadia Pro. How do you feel about that, Lloyd?
I feel the exact same way. I've never had a problem. Like, I've been a PlayStation Plus subscriber for a long time and a Games with Gold subscriber for a long time. And you would see the games announced and you'd look on the official blog, say the official PlayStation blog, and the first 12 posts is like, oh, I just bought that game. Oh, this is crap. Why are you giving us all this stuff? I already own this. There's nothing for me. And I'm looking at that and it's just like, well, if it's not for you, then move on. And hopefully there'll be a game that you don't own that you're going to enjoy. I've never seen a problem with that. It's different if you bought the game the day before and then it goes free. But we already know that there's a really, really good refund program with Google Stadia where you have up to 14 days or 2 hours of game time. So if you just bought Get Packed yesterday and you've only played it for a half hour, you can refund it. And then on June 1st, you'll be able to get it again added to your pro library. But yeah, no, I've never worried too much about a game if I already own it or not. I'm just happy that other people will be able to play the game that I've already bought.
Right. And I want to get to this. Get Packed is a game that is okay to play on your own. It's kind of meh to play on your own. And I played through most of the campaign on my own. Mm-hmm. It's really fun and really shines when you're playing with another person who you are talking to, usually through voice chat or something. And as it is right now, not a lot of people picked up Get Packed. Unfortunately, it launched right alongside of moving out on the Nintendo Switch. And so, that really split the player base as to who's going to spend money on this particular game. So the number of people that you can play with online is really small, and that means it's really hard to find a match with randos without sitting down and working out when you're going to do this ahead of time. So the fact that this game is coming to Stadia Pro, I personally think is one of the best things for this game, because now there's going to be way more people who have access to it, who are online playing it. And that means it's going to be easier to find matches where you and other people can get in there and start, wreaking havoc, and maybe spinning around and knocking each other over with a stop sign.
100%. The only thing that I would complain about, and it's not even a complaint, it's just an observation, is that this game's been out for a short period of time, and it's very similar to what happened with Guilt, where it came out, it's an exclusive to Stadia. It came out, and then less than a month later, it was a pro game. The same thing's happening with Get Packed. I hope that this doesn't encourage people to wait on Stadia exclusives, thinking that, hey, next month they'll just be free anyway, because we've gotten it twice. But it does seem like over the last little bit, our pro games are new games that have never been on the platform before, and or games that have just been out for a short time. So pretty interesting what Google's doing here. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the rest of the year.
The next game on the list is called Little Nightmares. It says here, dive into an extraordinary atmospheric adventure with Little Nightmares. Face the darkness and overcome insidious challenges in this spellbinding story. Lloyd, are you into horror games at all?
I'm a bit of a baby when it comes to scary games. I tried streaming, like one of the things when I started streaming on Twitch a long time ago, I was doing a lot of Nintendo content, and then I went to my wife and I said, which game should I play? And she's like, you should play this horror game. And I can't remember what it was. It was like Outlast or whatever that
Outlast,
game was.
Yep.
I think that's the game. And she was sitting in the basement watching me play. And at one point I literally jumped, like my butt left the seat because I jumped high off the couch. And I said, you know what? I think I'm done. And then I stopped streaming, and she laughed and laughed and laughed. Yeah, I'm not very good with scary games, especially if I'm streaming. If I'm playing myself, I can pause it. I can go get a drink. I can go take a walk. I've seen Little Nightmares because it used to be a Nintendo, or it was a Nintendo Switch title, and it was part of a Nintendo Direct way back in the day. And I'm like, oh my God, this game looks so damn creepy. But I never ended up picking it up on Switch, even though I do enjoy horror games. Even though I get scared, I enjoy playing like scary or creepy games. So now I'm going to get the chance to do that on Google Stadia, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I definitely won't be streaming it.
You won't be streaming it?
No.
Oh my goodness. Everybody, please leave a comment down below if you would love it if Lloyd would stream Little Nightmares right here on our channel. When I saw this game, I don't remember it from a Nintendo Direct, and I've been following the Nintendo Directs for years, so it probably just, goldfish memoried right out of my brain. But this game looks super good, and I love the art style that they've gone with for this. Now, I don't know how gory the game is because I have not played it, and I haven't. The only thing that I have to go on is this trailer. But I really like games that are scary that are not also gross, and I feel like this might be up my alley. Like this might be the kind of game that I would really like to play. One of my favorite games of all time, and I really wish that this would come to Google Stadia. Not for me, because I already own it on PC and PS4, and I almost bought it on Nintendo Switch, but Alien Isolation is an amazing game and terrifying and such a cool story. I love that game, and I'm always looking for a horror game that will make me feel like Alien Isolation made me feel. That game messed up my brain for a short period of time. Like I was terrified when I was playing that game, even though I knew that it's just a game. It still scared the hell out of me. So I'm definitely looking forward to Little Nightmares, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Definitely. It's creepy. It's not gross. It looks very much like a Tim Burton kind of look.
Yeah.
Like almost claymation-y kind of. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to play it. And if you comment below and say you want me to stream it, maybe I'm going to have to stream it. And then you guys get to laugh at me physically jumping out of my chair when I get jump scared.
You already mentioned it at the beginning of the video, is Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It says it's Morphin Time. Take control of the iconic heroes, harness your special skills, and beat down Goldar in Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. I don't know anything about this other than it's a fighting game. Have you played this at all?
No, it's another one that came out on the Switch, and I was like, I should get this. I like, my kids love Power Rangers. This would be something to do. And then I just never picked it up. It's a fighting game, but it's not like a Mortal Kombat type fighting game or whatever. Other than the fact that it's 3D fighting, but there's not a lot of gore or anything like that. So it always looked like something that would have been a lot of fun to play with the kids. So I'll have that chance now on Stadia.
Now, I would really like to check this out, and the thing that will determine whether or not it's a game that I'm interested in is what are the inputs like. For instance, when I play a game like Smash Brothers, which is my favorite fighting game of all time, they don't have super complicated inputs where I have to do like quarter circle forward and then these two buttons, or if you play some of the really crazy ones, you got to do like a half circle back, a half circle forward, a quarter circle up or something, and then do something else afterwards. And I could never get those moves to actually happen. I'm just not physically dexterous enough with my thumbs to make that happen. I could do it with an arcade stick back in the day on like Mortal Kombat 2 when I was a kid, but I've never been able to do it on my thumbs, and I don't play these games enough that it makes sense for me to invest in an actual joystick to play them on. So I always struggle with fighting games. And if it's a fighting game where positioning is very important, but the actual inputs to have an attack go off are not as important, then I'm much more likely to enjoy it. Like Samurai Showdown is one of the first games that we got with Stadia Pro, and within 5 seconds of loading that game up, I knew, oh, this is not a game for me, even though it is gorgeous. Like, that's a really, really pretty game. And I didn't feel any latency at all with what I was playing. I decided right away, this is not a game for me because I don't like this style of fighting game. So I'm really hoping that Battle for the Grid is more like Smash in the button input style and less like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Well, the game itself, it's 3-on-3 fighting, so it's very much like a tag team battle,
like
or
Capcom versus Street Fighter or something.
X-Men versus Street Fighter, Capcom, Marvel versus Street Fighter. Whatever all the other ones were. It's like that. So it's 3-on-3, and it has traditional controls, but they say they're simplified. I haven't played it. I haven't looked at any of the move lists, so I don't know what they are, but maybe it is a little bit more simple than, say, kind of like a Street Fighter, when you have to do some crazy button combos to do some of the more advanced moves. Like you can do your Hadoukens and dragon punches and things like that pretty easily, but there's some additional more advanced controls. It'd be interesting to see what this one is. I haven't played it, so I'm not sure, but it does say that there are simplified controls for newcomers, so we'll see, I guess, if this is something that you'll be able to play.
And it's free, so hey, you know what? Okay, it's not free, it's included in our subscription. I hate saying that it's free, and I do it all the time. All right, the next game on the list is a game that I have kind of eyeballed this game about 400 times as it's come out on different platforms. And every time I look at it and I think, maybe I'll pick it up this time. And I never do. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. You want to tell everybody what it is?
So yeah, it's Superhot, and it's coming to Stadia Pro in this inventive and surprising take on the first-person shooter. Time only moves when you do. Freeze and plot your moves, then roll out your attacks with fluid precision in the stylish and challenging blend of fast reflexes and puzzle solving. So Superhot is a first-person shooter. It's set inside a computer, and the computer only moves when you move. So you take a step forward, the enemies come towards you. The enemies fire their gun, and you stop. The bullets are suspended in midair, and then you can plan out what you're going to do. If you're gonna like bash the bullet out of the air, if you're going to dodge it, all that stuff. I've never played Superhot, the regular game, but I played so much of Superhot, the PlayStation VR game, and it was phenomenal because the action moved when you moved. So if you're like kind of ducking to go under the bullets, and I'm trying to keep my voice near my microphone, but you could actually physically move around the bullets, and it was so much fun to play. But I always wanted to play the first person shooter, and I believe I own it on like multiple versions because of Humble Bundles and giveaways and Epic Games and all this other stuff. But I've never booted it up. So now the reason why I love Stadia is you click a button and you're playing the game in 30 seconds. You don't even have to think about it. You don't have to install it. You don't have to even really do much other than type in stadia.google.com or use your Chromecast. I'll finally be able to jump into Superhot, and I am super stoked, no pun intended, to jump in and finally play this game.
He's super stoked for Superhot. I'm excited for it as well. And you're right, that having to install the game is a barrier to entry, because sometimes I'll go to play a game and I'll be like, oh yeah, I want to try this out, or I want to play this, and I'll go to hit the install button and it'll say, we got to download it and it'll be ready in 20 minutes. And I'll be like, what the hell am I going to do for 20 minutes? So I just cancel and go play something else that's already installed. So yeah, Superhot,
right.
Not, I'm much more likely to try it now. The next game on the list is a remake that has come out on Nintendo Switch as well as other platforms. It originally came out, if I remember correctly, on the Dreamcast. Was it the Dreamcast or the Saturn?
Sega Saturn.
Okay, so it came out on the Sega Saturn. I had both of those consoles because I was a huge Sega fan back in the day. But I had Panzer Dragoon. I remember playing it. I remember really liking it, but that's all I remember about the game. Panzer Dragoon Remake marks the triumphant return of one of gaming's great shooter classics. Pilot your dragon across strange and beautiful vistas, overcoming cunning enemies in this action spectacular. I'm very excited for Panzer Dragoon. And now I was thinking about buying it on the Nintendo Switch, and now it's going to be a Stadia Pro game. And the thing that's kind of blowing me away is, of the pro games this month, we've got 4 of those games. Five of the pro games, if you count Elder Scrolls Online, have never been on the platform before. This is their release is this month, and we're getting all of them as part of our subscription. I almost said for free again. So Lloyd, what do you think about Panzer Dragoon?
I can't wait to play it again. I've been hovering over the buy button on Switch so many times when I've been looking for something to play, and then something else would come up. I'd get a Stadia game to play, or there'd be a PlayStation game or an Xbox game or something else, something to keep me away from buying it. Because I too love the original. I didn't own a Saturn, so I could only play it over at my buddy's house. But this has been kind of like a critic darling forever. People always talk about how amazing a shooter Panzer Dragoon was. I know that when the Switch version came out, there were some issues. There was some frame rate issues. It was chugging in areas. There were some issues with the reticule. Stadia is much faster than the Nintendo Switch, so I'm hopeful that all of those issues will be gone, and I cannot wait to jump in and play it. And yeah, like you said, these are all new games. It's not like they're giving us stuff that has been on the system for 6 months. These are all new titles, and their first appearance on Stadia is in the Pro subscription. And I'm sure you could buy them after if you want, but you can just pay $10 a month and play them all for free for that month.
Yeah. So I sent out a tweet with a little poll earlier asking everybody, what are the games, of the 6 June Pro games, which ones are you most excited for? And I've got the results right here. Lloyd, so we've got Little Nightmares, Superhot, Get Packed, Panzer Dragoon, Power Rangers, Elder Scrolls Online. Of those, which one do you think garnered the most votes they're in the couple of hours since I posted it?
I want to say Panzer Dragoon.
Really? Okay, no, it was Elder Scrolls Online got 48% of the votes.
I didn't realize that was part of it. I should have.
Okay.
I was not listening when you said that. For sure, that would have been. I thought it was only the 5 that we were talking about right this second.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, it would have been ESO for sure.
Oh, okay. So
which
Elder
one was
Scrolls
second then?
What's that?
Which one was second? Second place.
The second place, it's really close because they're all really, really close together. But the second place was Get Packed, which
wow,
that really surprises me. I would have guessed Little Nightmares myself, but Get Packed is like 13.2%, and then the next one was Superhot at 11.32%. So people were very, very excited for all of these things, and I tweeted out, let me know what you think. Bowser 13 says ESO for me. So glad the base game is free, so I can give it a good run without any extra costs. Second would be Little Nightmares, but I actually have it on my Switch unplayed. We'll do one. I know that's so many of us have unplayed games. I'll do one more, and that one comes from Brad Farrell. They said, going to try ESO, no doubt. Little Nightmares and Panzer Dragoon look interesting. The rest I'll try, but aren't getting me excited. It's the number they're giving us this month that's exciting. And I have to say, I don't expect that next month, like we got 6 games this month, right? So when that tweet went out, I was looking through the comments and somebody said, so in July, 7 games? And I was like, oh my, they don't always have to outdo themselves. You know what I mean?
Can you remember back before Stadia came out and they were talking about Stadia Pro and that there would be games added to Stadia Pro every once in a while, and we were anticipating, based on the interview with the superhero John Justice, that there'd be a game added every month or two. And we've been getting multiple games every month, 6 this month. Stadia really is, it's not the next Netflix of gaming, which is like a moniker that Stadia hated because that's what everybody said before it came out. But it almost is. Like if you've been a pro since the system launched like six-ish months ago, you have like 30 games in your library, 25 games in your library. Like it's pretty damn amazing what they're doing. And if they keep adding a lot of content to your library every single month, like this, it's not going to be Xbox Game Pass level of awesome because you don't get an instant access to a library of over 100 games plus all these first party titles when they launch, but it's getting close. Like there's going to be just a large amount of amazing titles that you're going to have access to. It's pretty fantastic.
Right now, if you signed up for Stadia Pro and had never done it before, you would get 17 games. If you count the June ones, 17 games that you're not paying for. And if let's pretend that Pro wasn't currently in its weird free deal, that'd be $10 for 17 games. That's a really good deal. Now,
what's that, 40 cents a game or something?
I don't know. Somebody do the math and let us know in the comments section, because I can't do math like that when in my head. If we come back to this in a year, like, think about how many games that you're going... If they keep up at a rate like this, we're going to have so many games that have been part of our subscription. And never mind the discounts, because the discounts have been really, really good. I've gotten a lot of games on deep discounts thanks to Pro subscription. So I'm very happy with Pro.
I agree. I think it's 59 cents. I just did the math.
You could tell because I finished talking and he did not react right away. I was like, he's doing some math over there. All right.
It really is ridiculous. Like, just sorry to cut you off. Like, the fact that they're adding Elder Scrolls Online, we're getting an MMO, hundreds of hours, the discounts, getting Assassin's Creed Odyssey for $20, getting a whole pile of other games for half off. Like, it is a really just an amazing service, and for $10 a month, it's quite the bargain.
All right, one last thing before we wrap up, because this is a midweek update, and Lloyd and I have things to do. But Lloyd, I just dropped a link in Discord. So
saw that earlier.
You saw it earlier. Okay, so I figured we could probably do a quick weigh-in on this, or should we save that for Sunday?
We could do a quick little dip in. You want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, Steam, Valve announced that they're doing something called Steam Cloud Play Beta. And what it is a way to play your Steam library through the cloud. And you look at, it's like, oh, Stadia does that, and GeForce Now does that, and xCloud does that. Well, what this service looks like it's going to be doing is tying into multiple cloud streaming services. So right now, NVIDIA GeForce Now is going to be available as part of this beta, and it's opt-in. So as a game developer, you have to opt in to have your game available on Steam Cloud. But this is a really interesting way. So Steam is a huge library, a huge store with a huge library, and it might be possible in the future that you'll be able to play all of the Steam games in the cloud somehow, but you're probably gonna have to pay for all of these services. They said the first one is going to be GeForce Now. So people are saying, well, what does that mean? Is it going to be some games will be available in xCloud, other games will be available in Stadia, other games will be available in GeForce Now? We don't really know, but this is a really interesting piece to a puzzle that I didn't know was missing that piece. A big store comes in and says, yeah, we're going to have cloud play available, and we're not doing it. We're going to be partnering with other companies to do it. Just not something I expected.
I really hope that what happens is that a publisher says, yes, we'll do this. And that means that that publisher's game is on xCloud, is on GeForce Now, is on Stadia, is on the Project Tempo, is on all of them. Because then I as a consumer give my money to whoever I prefer.
Yeah.
And I can still have access to all of my games. I think that that's a win for the consumer. And I think that it's also a win for the publisher, because the publisher now, they don't have to worry about all of the places where people can get their games. It's just like you get your game wherever you want. And I think that that's really, really great. Do you think that Steam and Stadia would ever work together? Or do you think it would be more like something like GeForce Now, where they're already trying to offer a Steam thing, because Stadia is kind of trying to do their own thing at the same time?
Yeah, like GeForce Now is the only service out there right now that isn't selling their own games. So they're just a service for playing games that are bought elsewhere.
Shadow does that too.
Oh, yeah, but Shadow is a different thing. It's more of a, hey, rent this PC in the cloud and you can do whatever you want on it. So I guess if you include Shadow, yeah, okay. And GeForce Now and Shadow are part of it. But both xCloud and Tempo and Stadia are all going to have stores that are tied in with the streaming thing. So it'll be interesting. Steam, like Valve, I keep calling it Steam, but Valve in its lifespan has thrown wrenches into the way that normal things are done online. Like the whole selling PC games for $60 in a big box was the way it was done. And they said, you know what? No, you could buy it online, download it to your client, and it's only going to cost you $20. And they've pulled the rug out of the industry a number of times. So it wouldn't surprise me if in the future you would buy a game on Steam and it would be playable on say Stadia Pro. It would be playable on xCloud if you have a Pro membership. It'd be available on GeForce Now if you're paying for their membership. So it would just be a conduit to play those games. The one issue that I see is GeForce Now is basically a PC. So it's running a PC game on a PC. Stadia is running a Linux OS. So all the games that were running on Linux maybe could be ported over, unless the Steam's going to work on some sort of virtual machine that's going to run on Stadia that'll run all these Steam games. Like, who knows where this could go? It could get like just totally crazy, or it could just be GeForce Now is the partner in North America and Tencent Cloud is the partner in China, and maybe that's the way that they're thinking, why there could be multiple services that they're partnering with.
You know, I don't think anybody else has come up with that idea of just having different partners in different regions. That makes a lot of sense. And you said, Steam is a PC, GeForce Now is a PC, Shadow is a PC, Stadia is a Linux weird server blade, and xCloud is an Xbox. It's not actually like it's just like that's the kind of thing that maybe those two get left out. I don't know. I think that this is very, very interesting, and it's definitely something that is going to change the landscape of the gaming industry. And you can be sure that Lloyd and I are going to keep talking about all of this stuff. Keep coming back for those pro game updates, for the Steam Cloud Play updates, for all of that stuff. And Lloyd, it looks like he has something to say. He's chomping at the bit. No, he's
No,
not.
I'm eager to talk about more streaming stuff. Like there's so much amazing news. Like just this week alone has just been amazing in the whole streaming industry. And there's a rumored Sega thing that's happening, maybe with Xbox. Like there's E3 isn't happening this year, but all the juicy gaming stuff is all coming to a head, and we're going into June where E3 normally is. So this is such a great time to be a gamer. So many like little things trickling out. I just love that stuff.
Yeah. So, hey, if you want to keep this conversation going, join our Discord. There's a link in the description down below. Do all of the YouTube stuff that we always ask you to do, because it really does help. Lloyd, thanks for joining me to talk about this, man.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. This is fun. Some great games coming, and we're going to be talking about it here on StadiaCast, folks.
Bye, everyone.